The Overlord's Teachings into 38. Divide and Rule. Part 1. Why should I learn it? A united people can defy an empire. A divided people beg for one. Ah, my chosen inheritor of cosmic dread. Sit. Listen. For this lesson is not merely tactical. It is divine. We now discuss a weapon sharper than blades and quieter than assassins. Division. 1. Unity is the enemy of tyrants. From the ancient philosophers of Earth to the tactical minds of the Qarnak Nebula, one truth echoes eternally. Cohesion is strength. When the people stand together, they dream of freedom. When the nobles align, they conspire rebellion. When the fleets synchronize, they dare speak resistance. You must learn this principle because if you do not fracture these illusions of harmony, they will fracture your throne. This isn't paranoia, it's mathematical certainty. Game theory shows when agents coordinate, their combined power can overcome even an absolute state. So do not allow coordination, ever. 2. Conflict distracts from common enemies. Tell me, child, have you ever watched a pack of predators quarrel over a carcass while a hunter circles them? Exactly. When factions fight among themselves over resources, beliefs, honor, gods, and titles, they are too preoccupied to notice you tightening the chain. Learn this technique, for it delays revolt, weakens opposition, and justifies your rule as the sole force of order. Even Machiavelli, the soft-hearted Florentine, knew it is much safer to be feared than loved. But he failed to realize the best rulers are neither feared nor loved. They are needed. And a world locked in conflict needs a final arbiter. 3. You can be their puppet master. Division is not simply defense. It is offense through manipulation. Why learn to crush an enemy's army with brute force when you can convince half of it to kill the other half? This is no trick. It is psychological warfare, grounded in the concept of identity theory and in-group bias. People will always favor us over them. So redefine us with ever-shifting boundaries. Tribe, language, culture, rank. Make them jealous. Make them suspicious. And then, sit back. The Overlord who understands the fragility of loyalty becomes the architect of endless loyalty wars. Learn to divide, child. Not because it is easy, but because it is eternal. Part 2. How do I learn it? The symphony is beautiful until you snap the conductor's baton and hand every musician a different sheet. Now that you understand the why, my dear aspiring tyrant, let me instruct you in the how. This isn't something you learn in schools or academies. This is alchemy of the political soul, refined over genocides, betrayals, and forgotten treaties. Master human and post-human psychology. To divide, you must first understand. You are not studying strategy, you are studying the soul's fractures. Begin with the foundational works. Freud taught us repression, use it. Jung taught us archetypes, weaponize them. Henri Tajfel showed that group bias is so strong, people will fight over nothing if you label them differently. Conduct your own experiments. Create 2 identical squads. Tell one they're alpha, tell the other they're beta, then watch them implode without a single external threat. Division is not imposed, it is invited. 2. Learn the history of empires and how they fell. All rulers record their victories. The wise study their losses. The Romans? Brilliant. They let barbarian tribes fight each other while they expanded. The British Empire? Magnificent. They invented entire ethnic divisions in India. Even the galactic Zorathians? Legends. They installed warring puppet kings in every colony. Study these methods, not for nostalgia, but to sharpen your own claws. Each rebellion, each conquest, each betrayal, they are case studies in control. History is not dead, my successor. It's your blueprint. 3. Practice manipulation in controlled environments. No aspiring overlord trains on a battlefield. You start in smaller arenas, a royal court, a corporate boardroom, a dysfunctional family dinner. There, you whisper suggestions, ask leading questions, offer unequal rewards, observe reactions, track alliances, adjust your tone until factions bloom like cancers under a microscope. This is where you refine your technique of asymmetric loyalty. No one should love you equally. They must all suspect each other more than they fear you. Remember, you don't sow chaos, you tune it like an instrument. Part 3. How do I apply it to my benefit? When you control the narrative, the story is yours to tell. When you control the factions, you control the war. 1. Craft your web of factions. You are the spider. They are the flies. It's time to weave a carefully constructed web of conflict. Every ally and enemy you acquire is simply a pawn in your web. Example: begin by identifying natural rivalries. In your court of generals, create an imagined hierarchy. Tell General X that General Y is rising too fast. Tell General Y that General X is holding back the war effort because of an old grudge. Encourage each to secretly undermine the other in subtle ways. Watch the tension rise. 2. Create crises at the right moment. Chaos is not always your tool. Timing is. A good ruler, one who truly knows how to divide and rule, stirs the pot only when it benefits you. An empire in constant crisis is one where the ruler cannot relax. But a ruler who can spark crises and solve them just when the pressure becomes unbearable, that ruler is the master. When you see rival factions nearing a peaceful resolution, introduce a crisis, perhaps a false rumor, a sabotage attempt, or a fabricated betrayal. This reignites animosities and guarantees that no group will ever become too powerful. You see, by keeping factions at war with each other, they never notice how your influence grows. 3. Offer the illusion of power, but keep the real power for yourself. This is where true mastery lies. Never give anyone real authority. You control everything. Each faction must believe they are one decision away from ascension, but they will always remain on the verge, never allowed to achieve true dominance. Allow them to fight for favors, for land, for wealth, but never give them enough to become dangerous. Meanwhile, you hold the reins. They fight for scraps while you command the feast. 4. Use fear and favor. Apply fear liberally, but only where it counts. The rest? Give them scraps of favor. Reward those who undermine your enemies until they start thinking they can rise above their station. Then remove their support. Let them fall, and let their fall be public. By contrast, those who remain loyal must feel the power of your grace. But be careful not to make them feel secure. Show them that loyalty will always be rewarded, but only when it serves your purpose. 5. Turn their strengths into weaknesses. Identify the strengths of your enemies, your rivals, your allies. Then weaponize them against them. A general might be a skilled strategist, but make him arrogant. A tactician might be brilliant, but make her insecure about her position. These strengths that could topple you must be manipulated until they break their wielders. When you've orchestrated the right moment, strike with decisive force. Revel in the irony, how their own power brings them low. 6. The endgame. Consolidate the fragments. Once you've turned the rival factions to ash, and their leaders reduced to wreckage or obedient puppets, then, and only then, should you unify, but only under your rule. The key to true mastery lies in leaving them broken, disillusioned, and so weak they crave the illusion of unity. Only when they have been humbled, scattered, and utterly exhausted by your machinations will you extend the olive branch and unite them under your unshakable will. Your reward? You are now the supreme ruler, seated comfortably on a throne of ashes. Every faction believes they owe their survival to you, and their internal conflicts will keep them too busy to notice that their freedoms and will have long since been shattered. And you will become the eternal force they never stop fighting for, but will never be able to defeat. The universe is your chessboard. The pieces are already moving, and remember, you are the master.